I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Episode 19. Last week we didn't get an episode, and that sucked. This week we're going forward after our third turning point, and we're going towards Begarit now. I think we're probably headed off this episode because of the end of last episode.
Yeah. Not only the title of the episode, but come on, that moment. Like, Norn already had her bags packed.
Yeah.
You know, so we kind of have to get moving with that.
It's going to be a long journey unless we can find a way to make it quicker. Are we going alone? Are we going to pick up friends on the way? I think we're just going to go alone. That's where I'm putting my eggs at the moment.
I don't think we're going alone. I still think that there's a chance that, like, Elle and Elise still might come.
Oh, true. I think you're right with that, actually. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Sweet.
あなたに残れと言ったんですのよ。ええ、ですが。
Seeing his resolve.
二人で行きましょうか。ざっと見積もって片道
8 months each way. Wow.
俺さすが年の子。おだてないでくださいまし。問題は私の呪いのことですわね。旅の間、俺とエリナリーゼさんはしない。
Yeah. We bring him just for the curse.
Aww.
Yes.
往復16ヶ月。
It's crazy.
向こうのトラブル以下では挨拶回りだけはしっかりしておこ
う。Nanahoshi?
I wonder how she'll feel about him being gone for such a long time.
いつもと時間が違うけど。実は手をしに来ました。残念なお知らせ。ベガリット大陸の迷宮都市ラパンまで往復で約2年ほど。ベガリット。手伝うと言っていたのに申し訳ありません。どうしても行かなければならないんです。2年。
Wow. 2 years for Nanahoshi, you know? Are you coming with? No.
No, is she giving him something? Getting there quicker. Maybe? Kid doesn't want to wait 2 years?
Oh, shit. What?
But this is important. She doesn't want to wait 2 years.
Wow, that is insane. Wow. Damn, that's awesome.
This is mutually beneficial.
Leave some chips. That's awesome. I was, for a split second, I was like, oh my god, is Nanahoshi packing her bags right now?
I thought so too for a second.
Oh, how quick?
She knows where you're going and why you're going.
Wow. Honestly, they both know how fucking traumatic that can be.
The way he just like so lightly has his hand on the back of her head.
Oh, what do you think?
Oh, it's like a superstition.
この世界の死亡フラグだったか。
子供の名前は帰ってきたらつけることにして、それまでに生まれたらルーデウスジュニアと呼びましょう。シルフィーもそれでいいかな。うん。
Man.
シルフィー。
us.
旅立ちが決まったので、知り合い全員に
How
挨
did
拶をして
Bodyguardy take it?
あれ以来、バーディーガーディには会ってないが、まあ元気にやってい
He
るだろう。
probably is doing fine.
ジーナス教頭には旧天意とベガリット大陸にまつわる本、
うん
それぞれの貸し出し許可をもらった。ここから1週間で天意魔法陣のある森へ行き、
It's a big
そ
horse.
こからベガリット大陸へ1ヶ月かけてラパンへ向かう。そして迅速に家族を助け、同じ
I don't like how we're phrasing it like quickly.
Bail them out.
What a great horse.
I know.
ルーです。まだ未完成だが、なんとかここまで小型化できた。問題ないはずだ。リーゼを頼む。はい。リーゼ、帰ってきたら式をあげよう。呪いはまだ解けてないけど、どうかって一緒に住もう。
The
今
future.
までそうしなかったから、口だけじゃないかって。
クリフ
You worried I was all talk.
私は黙っていこうとした。
ミリス式になるけど、いいか。リーゼはミリス教。
クリフ愛していますわ。ルディ、シルフィ。
This fucking sucks. It hurts to leave. Like, I.
兄さん、何も心配しないでください。お兄ちゃんも子分を。大丈夫。ルーデウスは私が守りますわ。出産までに戻りますわよ。はい。
Oh no.
It probably does make her feel better that Rudy's not going alone, honestly, and that it's her grandmother.
Nothing will go wrong.
いってらっしゃい。
We spent like all of season 2 building up this fantastic home and family, and we know everybody here, and I want to help, but I don't.
You just go
Ah!
over and help.
Who's the guy on the horse behind us? Take the horses back after we teleport?
Oh, maybe. That's pretty smart. I wouldn't want to abandon the horses. I'm thank you for the details there. Yes.
I feel like we've already gotten like an episode's length of material.
Awesome. Okay.
見つけましたわ。この石碑ですわね。と一致します。間違いないでしょう。
God, this takes me back to season 1.
信念にのみ生きる。高層たるカイナからは何者をも逃れる2番目に死んだ竜。最も儚き瞳を持つ清流帝シラードの名を借り、その結界を今。
Whoa.
こんな魔術は見たことがありませんわね。
Oh, cool.
What?
たまに迷宮がこんな感じですわ。してくださいまし。了解です。怪しいですわね。行きましょう。
Let's go to the suspicious place.
これが天意魔法陣ですの？おそらくそうでしょう。何ですの？
This is wild.
天意の迷宮探索記という詳しく書かれた本です。細部は違いますが、転移できる魔法陣に間違いないでしょう。
天意事件について調べていた時に見つけた本だが、ところで役に立つとはな。
どうしました？いえ、私転移には少々嫌な思い出がありまして。俺だってありますよ。そうでしたわね。さて、行きますか。
Please. Please don't be anything bad. Like, thank you.
飛びましたわね。
Are we okay?
そうですね。一応戻れるか確かめておきますか。私が行きますわ。万が一あなたがいいパウロに報告するのはごめんですわ。わかりました。遅いな。きちんと戻ってこれましたわね。ですね。そうですの？すぐ戻ってきたつもりですけど。
があるのか。
何にせよ、戻ってこれるなら問題はないでしょう。
There's an issue with time.
What?
So we were supposed to land in a desert, right? So this is all good. Going as planned.
The robe
I
that
think
we
someone
saw.
was leaving like a winter coat
Ah.
for when they travel back and forth.
Oh,
You know?
fuck.
Yeah.
Shit. Orsted is just fucking like frequenting these teleportation circles.
How else would Nana
Whoa,
Hoshi
look
have
at this
learned all
place.
about
I
him?
feel like Rudy built this.
グリフ
まだ大丈夫かと思っていたが、少し溜まっていたようだ。
What?
This is some sort of like siren, mermaid, illusion
Succubus.
that's gonna murder you. And he's gonna fall for it.
Oh my god. What the fuck is happening?
I wonder if Paul fell for one of those once.
Oh!
まったく嫌な匂いですわ。大丈夫ですの？エリナ・リーゼさん、一回早く解毒なさい。エリナ・リーゼさん、そのスケベしようや。
Whoa. I like seeing Ellen Lee's fighting.
I love the effect on the screen.
It's like an animated Gaussian blur
That's
to imitate
moving.
heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
私、ちょっと行ってきますわ。
どこにです？
男あさりに先に寝ていて構いませんことよ。
Oh no.
わかりました。
呪いの影響は弱まってはいるが、結局は未完成ということか。お互いのためにもゼニスを救出して早く帰ろう。
Both of our sakes. Like, she sounded so sad about having to go out.
迂回かしら。
いえ、登りましょう。
Whoa.
I mean, it's like light packing. He didn't have to bring a tent.
助かります
I'm
わ
really
魔
nervous.
力量が多いと頼もしいですわね。伏せて。
Oh shit. Griffin.
More fights.
Multiple.
グリフォンのつがいですわね。そっちは任せましたわ。
Damn. Woo!
And then we just burn its body.
逃がしませんわ。
Are we gonna eat it?
We might eat it. No.
どうぞ。焼け
Yes.
ましたよ
We。ate it.
あなたの味付け。
そりゃどうも。エリナ・リーゼさん、お行儀が悪いですよ。
ゼニスみたいなことを言いますのね。
そんなことを？
女の子なんだからもっといろいろ気をつけてください。そういえば初めて出会った頃のゼニスは、
Taking after both parents. I like that.
ええ、右も左もわからない小娘でナンパされて連れてこられましたのよ。
Jesus, Paul.
父
Did he
さん
do anything?
エリナ・リーゼさんに
to
何か
protect her?
謝りたいみたいな感じでしたけど。
あなたも父親の地上のもつれなんて知りたくもないでしょ。ようやくですわね。
Whoa.
We see that giant
In the
ribcage in the intro.
Okay, that was Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Episode 19. It's definitely Orsted's
It's
coat.
Orsted's coat.
Man.
I'm glad we realized it in the episode and then it didn't take us like too long to like click it together.
Yeah, but like, is it just to show us that like this is the root? Obviously, it's the connection through Nanahoshi, and like he uses these, or is it to convey that Rudy is recognizing this is Orsted's jacket too, or coat too, and it's going to play like a part within this saga?
So, okay, really great questioning here. Obviously, if the coat is here, that means that Orsted is on this side of the teleportation.
Yeah.
Because he took his coat off to enter into the desert area.
Yeah.
Which could definitely lend you into the idea that we might be bumping into him.
Yeah.
I don't really, I would have to, like, go back and watch the moment of Rudy finding the coat, because it almost doesn't seem, at least on first watch, like he reacted much. He was more like, you know?
Yeah.
Which is not the fear that I'm used to from him when it comes to Orsted, which is probably because he went into this full well knowing with Nanahoshi business that he might have to come across that guy again.
I definitely could read this as like, I don't know what I'm looking at, but to me, I think it's like oh shit. Yep,
yeah, Orsted's probably around here somewhere.
This is the code of the person who nearly fucking killed me.
Yeah.
You know, like, but interesting enough to give it to us because
it's practical too.
Yeah.
It really gives us that idea of like people using this underground to go back and forth between two very drastically different climates.
Yeah, and I like just like logistically that of course this would have been left here because of the climate, but I'm fearful that it would lead to an encounter within trying to rescue Paul and Zenith. You know, I hope that that's not the case, but I'm just fearful because God, Orsted left a mark. Like, holy shit, that was one of the craziest happenings in the entire series, Mushoku Tensei.
But I do like that we're not scared of him anymore. Like, seeing this coat, I feel like Rudy, even episodes ago, would have felt, you know, I guess I'm just so still back in time with how Rudy would feel in terms of like immediate panic and fear over remembering Orsted, that I would
like
think
in terms of like a trauma response or how quick it would be. I feel like there's been a lot of internal growth for Rudy, and that acts as if like a dampening to how quick he'd be able to go into like an anxiety panic mindset.
Right. That, and he's had a lot of interaction with Nanahoshi since he went into using these circles, knowing full well like who Nanahoshi once traveled with and how she probably has all this information. He probably was much prepared for the possibility, but also he's probably kind of still inside like, well, it doesn't mean I have to actually come across him.
Yeah.
He's probably just doing his own thing, doing his Orsted thing.
Man, it is so cool to travel a bit with Elle and Elise. I know that Rudy didn't want to hear about it, but I wish we got a flashback to the Fangs of the Black Wolf or Fangs of Black Wolf and got to see that group like in its early days when Paul had taken Zenith away.
She was like 16.
Yeah,
like, bro.
But I wish we got to see like what they used to look like in their prime and of journeying themselves.
I feel like we probably will learn more about what the actual drama or love affair business was, why Paul wants to apologize to Elle and Elise. I feel like that is something that needs to come once everyone's in the room together again, like once Paul has a chance to apologize to Elle and Elise, or doesn't get the opportunity to. Like we have talked about, if someone's gonna die, it's probably gonna be Paul.
Yeah. Do we think that the idea of there being like a time lag between teleportations is something that they're bringing back to just add in the consistency that we know of time and teleportation and it being fucked, and also to be able to give Rudy a device to be able to find Orsted's jacket? Or do you think that it's going to like reoccur again this season, or this I guess this problem?
I'm not sure. Part of me thinks that it could purely just be to kind of fatten up the description of the magic and teleportation, that there needs to be some possible like imperfections about it. And I think that time lag is a really great kind of option to pick in terms of like how it could not be like the perfect solution, but it's still better than before. At least we haven't been told what that time lag actually was, other than Rudy was waiting for some smaller amount of time, maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes. It just wasn't immediate.
But for Elle and Elise, it was
like 5 seconds, basically. She like immediately walked back on the circle, which to me just makes it seem more realistic this idea of teleportation. It just gives it another facet that makes it feel more thought out.
See, but what I agree with you, but I'm wondering, like, so for Ellen Elise, it was like that, right? Now, does that mean when she stepped into the teleporter to go back, it would be like, what was, it was 8 months each way, right? If we didn't teleport. So if, let's say, when she stepped on, it took 8 minutes of time or 30 minutes of time that she couldn't feel. And when she landed, it was 30 minutes later in the day. And then when she stepped on it, 30 minutes back that she couldn't feel. An hour adds up both ways. Or I wonder if it's like a legitimate way of manipulating time.
Interesting. For me, I almost imagine it like your body's in this limbo period. Like almost like when Rudy goes to talk to Man God, he's in this like limbo, but you're not like a sentient being. You're not conscious. But imagine it in a horror scenario.
Yeah.
Because like what if you accidentally teleported to one place, but your friend was in the other and they were currently fighting for their life against someone, and it's gonna take you like maybe 30 minutes to actually be able to get back to help them? Oof. That could be utilized for some really close calls.
I was almost like, I guess I'm just accustomed to that white transition with Mushoku Tensei, that I thought right when we teleported, we were going to see Man God again. Like, we were going to wake up in like the Man God realm, and Man God would be like, oh, okay, I see what you've decided to do.
You actually did go to Vigrid, even though I warned you not to. I thought of another way it could be helpful. Why they might have purposefully set it up with a time lag. What if you were being chased by someone?
Ooh.
And then you have almost, once you teleport, if they're right on you, you have like a 30-minute head start on them to even brace yourself to defend yourself or like get away or hide.
That'd be really interesting.
Like, honestly, that could have been why, if this is supposed to be so underground, like this idea of teleportation circles, if the government finds out about them, you know, this could be a way for people to quickly get away if found out or if being followed. Boom.
Man, I love the emphasis of danger and seriousness that teleportation conveys in Mushoku Tensei. It's so unique, I feel like. Like you'll get it with time travel, like, oh, like the cliche of like, you don't want to touch anything, butterfly effect. But I love that, like, the seriousness, teleportation, and like how volatile it is.
Right. Which really opens up this idea to you, like, okay, so before the mass teleportation, all of this stuff was still forbidden. All of this magic, this thought process of magic was still something that was like, do not touch this. It makes you really like wonder if it was forbidden for like reasons of like, can you really control what it actually does? Do you truly understand it? What would a mass scale version of this be? Or it was just a government wanting to be able to control their people better. Like, we do know that there were kind of like we need to know who's entering what port city. You know, we had like times where we had to sneak Ruijerd into a place where Ruijerd wasn't supposed to be or wasn't allowed to be. And it could have been that more so that the government wanted to forbid teleportation because of like further control over like the movement of people across the different continents.
Yeah.
Or is it because of like, what could this magic actually do, and can you truly control it?
Orsted has got to be one of the most interesting characters in the series, because like his the ability with magic seems to be so like separated in terms of like age and skill and niche than any other magic we've seen in the show. Like, obviously he's utilizing these gates, but he used something like First Worm Gate it opened in episode 21 of season 1, and like that type of like, I don't know, like his like popping in and out of reality abilities are absolutely insane.
Wasn't 21 Turning Point too?
Yeah.
So interesting that Orsted is brought back again
right after
Turning Point 3 is introduced as an episode title.
God.
I honestly can't wait to get to know that character more.
I know.
Because there was also kind of a pity aspect for him.
Well, yeah, because he had curses, right? He had 4 curses. Like, not seeing his present or future, or the present or future. Like everybody that was living would be he'd be feared by.
He would be terrified of him. Like, honestly, that pity aspect that was introduced there for him, he has a great character design.
Are you one of Man God's disciples, you know?
So, like, if we do bump into him, I won't be... As long as Rudy doesn't die or Ellen Elise doesn't die,
so bad.
I won't be too upset if we see him again.
I remember the beginning of that episode, we were like talking about red dragons, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so cool," and that happened. You know what's wild? Like, I expected myself to be like, "Fuck yeah, we're on the road again. We're adventuring again. This is like peak Mushoku Tensei. This is what I love." And I felt so much more reluctance than I imagined myself to. Like, it was easier to go out and adventure when, if we died, that would be the worst of it. But what would follow that now is the grief and what would be taken away from the home that we've made.
Right. Before, like, when the mass teleportation happened, Rudy as a character was still very much his past self in terms of his connection and interpersonal, like, his connection to this world, how he felt over 100% his parents, Zenith and Paul, would have grieved over him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't necessarily at a point in time where he would have felt that same emotion toward them that they might have felt toward him.
And I think that if it would be a different situation entirely if we got to see Rudy teleport while he was still in the house with, you know, Zenith and Paul. But because of the nature of them being in a field, and our disconnect felt a little more like we were just starting the show.
Yeah.
And now the entire beginning of this second core of season 2, it's like we're really setting up like stability again. And it's not just a mass teleportation that's out of our control. We're making this decision and we've weighed the options. And because of it, it's like you feel the weight of the decision. And especially when we're like, we're gonna be back before the baby's born. We're gonna name the baby. Like, I'm so scared.
I'm not surprised that was a superstition.
Yeah.
Of, like, naming the baby before he leaves on this dangerous journey. I'm not surprised that ended up being, like, super taboo. Like, do not do that. That's what, like, men who don't come home and, like, do.
What the fuck? Okay. Is something special about Zenith? Or did Zenith get the worst luck?
In terms of where she...
Yeah. Is something holding Zenith because Zenith is special to them? Or Zenith is providing something? Or is it like Zenith got teleported in a place that is so fucked up that it's just that difficult?
When it was first talked about, it sounded like it was she wound up in a place that was just really hard to get her out of. But I think because of, like, loving, like, Greek mythology and mythology as a kid, I also have this, like, headcanon visions of, like, Zenith teleporting into, like, a Minotaur maze or some sort of location where there's this beast that ends up getting, like, attached to her or protective over her, or, like, you are my bride now kind of energy, which is, like, obviously just, like, fun, imaginative details in my head that totally do not have to actually exist in reality. But I do like that as an idea. But in terms of what has actually been solidified or said, I feel like the only thing that's really been said is she is in a location that is hard to get to.
But it's been so long that it's like she needs to be sustained, you know? Right?
Unless she's, like, almost trapped. If we're getting this idea of, like, time lag and teleportation, what if she's trapped in, like, a time lag?
Yeah.
Like, what if she's almost, like, within that unconscious middle zone as you're teleporting from one point to another? Like, what if that's why she's so hard to see by Kishirika and so hard to get to? What if, like, we're getting introduced to the idea in this episode of what we are going to be seeing as a reality? We get this idea of a giant beast in front of a crystal in the opening.
That's what I'm looking at right now. And, like, the way that we're like, the animation's going in the intro, it's counterclockwise, which is, like, that could be, like, some fucked up interpretation of time.
We're getting teleportation circles.
Yeah.
Within the labyrinth. Honestly.
Are Zenith's hands tied here when we see her in the intro?
No,
they're
just
behind
have her behind her back. I think time is going to play a really heavy part.
This looks like she's, like, frozen in a crystal, right?
But there's teleportation circles in this place. I think teleportation and time are going to play a part. Like, how long is this journey going to actually take? It's been such a big plot point in the last couple episodes.
Do you think...
There's something really, like, mystical about this.
Do you think that, like... this is just fucking wild and probably way left field, but Rudy was born into this other life, was born by Zenith. Is there some type of lineage or power within Zenith that allowed that to happen? Obviously, it didn't happen with Norn or Aisha, but could that connect to some fucking crazy ass, like, desire to keep her trapped or utilize her mana or something?
We know that she's a good healer.
Yeah.
We don't know much about her backstory other than what we learned from Ellen Elise, which is, like, Paul basically scooped her up when she was 16. Honestly, Rudy just ending up in this family could just be for parallels in terms of writing character personalities.
Yeah.
And, like, tropes, but it could have significance in terms of mana or talent or even a past that Zenith has never spoken about to us, the viewer.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely get the idea of, like, time could, like, and time lag definitely could be part of it, but it's like how you were bringing up, like, mythology. What would make somebody so enthralled with Zenith? Right? Typically there's something. It's not just like, oh, I've never seen a human girl and now there's one in front of me and I'm obsessed with, you know?
I also feel like she hasn't aged. That's another current, like, headcanon I have in terms of, like...
I like that she's
imagery.
Been trapped this entire time.
I think that she has not aged since the mass teleportation.
Yeah.
Like, she's in a pristine... I feel like she's literally, like, time has stopped for her. She's unconscious. You know, she's in this gray area.
But why her?
Because she just wound up there. I don't know. Could literally just be happenstance.
As it was for Sylphie?
Yeah, like, Sylphie was very, like, written in the fates in terms of happenstance of where Sylphie ended up. Like, how perfect that Sylphie ended up in Ariel's lap, basically. And with the hair turning white...
We see Geese in the intro, even if it's for a frame.
Because he's a OG amazing man. He's a great guy.
I was trying to see if, I guess it's cheating if we're looking in the intro. I was trying to see if we could see Ghislaine in the fight too. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I've been, like, I have mastered, or somewhat mastered, I'm not going to say I've mastered, but I've attempted to get close to mastering this kind of, like, visual, like, disassociation when I watch intros.
Me too.
Where I don't I'm able to, like, put this barrier up of reading into them too much. So that's why I didn't even know if Ellen Elise went with us for sure.
Yeah, no.
Because I was like, I don't remember if I saw her.
Well,
I only see Rudy and
like,
Paul. Like,
I love the idea of speculating about things to happen, and we don't know consistently enough if we just shouldn't watch intros. So I feel like every time I'm watching it, I'm like, there's an adjustment layer that's blurred.
There's literally a blind goes down.
And I'm happy about it. I like that.
I'm super thankful that it's been, like, obviously it's been built up over time, but it's really cool that, like, the brain can work that way where sometimes you, like, click it on to read into things and analyze things and find things that actually don't even exist, but your mind is working overtime, and so it's overcompensating, and then be able to turn that switch off and just be like, la 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 la, this is a good intro, look at the pretty visuals.
I did like that we got like a return to interacting with like and stumbling upon danger and monsters.
Sorry. The succubus.
Yeah.
Okay. Rudy as a character, in terms of character writing, I am thankful that he does not completely change. Because no one does a complete 180 of who they are, and they cannot completely leave their past.
You can't erase your past.
You cannot erase your past.
Yeah.
He cannot completely leave who he was before this behind. And in terms of character writing and what feels to be more accurate to me, it makes sense that he would still have things that I find unsavory about his personality.
But was it depicted in such a way that it felt like it was almost like a hypnotic lustfulness that was
It did feel like a bit, yeah.
Or is that copium?
But I think it might be copium at the same time, because it also didn't surprise me.
I don't know. There was like a purple mist, you know, that like Rudy smelled.
Which might have been the succubus, like in the
luring
you're right.
him.
But then I'm also like, it's coming from the doorway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not copium. It was the succubus this whole time. Rudy is a faithful man, and he always will be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, that brings me to Ellen Elise specifically. I want to talk about her. Like, her leaving Cliff. Like, I'm so glad that Rudy said to her, he was like, dude, you need to have a real conversation with this guy. Not about breaking up with him, but about your future.
Yeah.
Like, Rudy was being a real friend to both of them in that instance, because he's like, I know how hard Cliff is working with so much love for you. Like, Cliff is fully aware of what this curse means if Ellen Elise leaves.
Yeah.
Cliff even knows that his invention isn't perfect and isn't going to like be exactly what Ellen Elise needs. So I feel like when Cliff's saying goodbye and he's saying, I want to marry you when you get back, he's saying that full well knowing that she might have to do some things upon like them parting ways, and that he still wants to marry her. And like, yes, that's comforting, but like Ellen Elise having to leave and saying she's going manhunting, like, it just hurt. It was like, I wish you didn't have to do that, and I know you don't want to have to go do that right now.
Yeah. Man, when did we get the dialogue about Body Gotti? I feel like he got done so dirty.
When do we get the dialogue about him?
Yeah.
The very beginning. It's like, Body Gotti, I haven't seen him since the last time I saw him.
But realistically, it's like, okay, we get the conversation with Ellen Elise. You haven't told him yet.
When we tell
then it's like
the Beast Girls?
A 16-month... Yeah, but when's that? Depending on how bad things... I better at least say my goodbyes, and then we're right into Nanahoshi.
So it'd be after Nanahoshi.
But then comes the intro, and then we're back home again.
I think it's like later on. No, maybe it's not.
It's interesting.
Oh, wait.
There we go.
Well, thumbnails.
About 7 minutes
we found
and
it.
50 seconds into the episode. Yeah, once I knew I was leaving, I made the rounds to everybody. I haven't seen Body Gotti since that one time, but I'm sure he's doing fine.
I'm sure he's doing fine as well.
I feel like we aren't thinking enough about Body Gotti's feelings, right? That Ruby Jordan encounter could have like I don't know. I don't know the guy as much as I wish I did.
I thought Rudy was my friend.
Yeah, like
he can't be friends with both of us.
And then we go right to we're talking to the vice principal. I feel like Body Gotti needed at least like a hug. He would do anything for us, and I feel like it might have taken a minute to track him down, but I hope he's okay. I hope he knows he's loved. That's all I'm trying to say. I like the visual, like the effect we got with the actual like opening of the ruin.
The ruins,
yeah.
Like getting rid of the barrier.
It's really interesting.
The ripple effect. In the same way that, as you said, it's like Gaussian blur animated. Like that is like when we get into the desert. I really love when deserts are depicted with some sort of filter on the top that hazes it, but it's moving around a little bit. It really gives that feeling of like heat. in the same way that certain sound effects can give me chills, as if like wind has blown or it's cold,
Yeah.
or even like emotional, like you can get emotional feelings swayed by visuals and sound effects, and that's just one of those things. It feels hot.
What do we think for the reason of like the city being within the rib cage of a massive monster? Do we feel like there was like agricultural reason that grass and this type of environment an ecosystem can thrive because of the like soil being like having different nutrients? Yeah.
I like that idea. Also, if you were just traveling around an empty desert, you would see this and be like, that's a landmark. Let's build our town here.
I'd be like scared that it'd fall on top of me one day.
How brittle those bones be.
Yeah. It depends on if it's any type of bird, right?
It looks like so stone now. Maybe some magic person came and like encased it with like cement.
Maybe. You know, like the reason birds don't have as many like fossils are because their bones are hollow and more fragile, so they don't last as long over time. That's why some crazy people think dragons were real, and we just don't have any fossil evidence.
I mean, flying dinosaurs were real.
Yeah.
So like
dragons are a different vibe though.
Because fire breathing.
Dragons. I'm excited though. I'm nervous.
I also like the griffins, so I'm so sorry to them that I was so focused on the succubus that I went straight to the succubus and didn't even give any love to the griffins. That was awful of me. I apologize. The griffins were pretty cute, but they died, and they apparently tasted good.
Rudy has a good seasoning.
Yeah, that line weirded me out.
Okay. All right, you good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.